Good morning. I'm supposed to say um, about the poisoning now, the chemical toxic agents that have been used here. Um, it's like 6 in the morning, and I have not been outside of my door yet because it was too dangerous. Um, I'm still trapped in my room as far as I'm aware, but okay, let me explain this because this does need that.
Come here, Mama's home. Mama love you, nigga.
Okay, I couldn't go out of my room until after I moved around. And then about 12 minutes after that, like within the 15-minute range, it was clear. So that's special forces, okay? I have no idea what they're doing, how they're doing any of this. Okay? And anyone that has to plug their ears on an average every 30 seconds is not going to be able in that environment to start to try to speculate, analyze, examine, do anything like that. All you do is it's just real primal. Once they bring in that kind of noise, and this town exists like that, and I'm not making it up. This is like nowhere I've ever been in my life. It's clearly one of the reasons is the drug abuse. Oh, hands down, no doubt. So that's an answer to the insanity of my environment that I'm in. Not just this terror cell, but outside throughout the city. Is an answer that at least I can get in here when I'm in isolation and in hostage situation. And I've had that on my account for years, that the police and fire, feds, they were all on drugs. The Navy command was smoking fucking crack. Our military and federal agents who tried to overthrow the U.S. handed over all of their responsibilities and powers to Iranian and Russian evil militaries. Okay? And the same Russian were attacking the good Russia. So I know I've said that back and forth, but it needs to just be said again to make sense here of my point. So the good Russia came here, long and short, freed up, assisted, saved, whatever words, the good Navy SEALs. And you have today ships in the coast in the Middle East that made the paper. That Navy ship is good guys and gals. But here's another example. The headline that it's organized crime that's pushing the headlines. So I want to say what organized crime group. I'm just going to say Russian organized crime because of the fact that this is a white nationalist neo-Nazi attempted overthrow. It was for white power, and that's why they're the ringleaders in organized crime. This had everything and all to do with white power. It had nothing else to do with anything else. The drug addiction that swept the population changed. It changed the motives, yeah. But the basis and premise and birth of this was for white power. So I'm going to label this Russian organized crime press because that's why you see so many sex workers and drug addicts in the press. There are answers that you can get in isolation. Some of it is loud and proud, and they're so stupid to announce themselves like that. But they thought they had the world on a string. This was just an overthrow for them, like a birthright. Of course, a drug addict or a sex worker who has a litany of psych issues would believe that you have to have serious psych issues to let men rape you, period. In the story. All right, I don't have to get sidetracked with this. It is not having a good time. You're letting men rape you, and I don't need to say this. Any adult knows that is so frightening. What sex workers allow to happen to themselves. Okay. So those are the people who are writing our headlines. And another example is the Russian jets harassed. It says harassed the American drones. Those American drones are assisting the ISIS terrorists over there in Syria. And this terrorist cell proves that this is an ISIS terrorist cell, okay? Protected by the Pentagon. Which is the same as the Navy command who is smoking crack inside the facility. All right. So these headlines are going out in the faces of highly skilled and experienced career military officials who did not attack the Constitution. Excuse me, I had to burp. But who were attacked by the cooping military, so that we have, like I said, 60% of our U.S. armed services, some of them are on the Navy boat by Iran right now, that's making the paper. And those are the good guys, and they're reading this, and they know what's happening. They know what's happening. They've been very aware for multiple years what's going on with the population and the politicians, okay? They're fraudulent. The politicians hold no power after this terror cell. This was a huge key to that. Habeas corpus, hands down, aiding and abetting. So they have no actual power, and the brains of the government set up a government for when martial law was issued. There is a constitution, there is a government. It's not just chaos with no one in control and power and no military and the world is ending and all these WMDs are going off. No. But God wanted me to say that this morning, and I would have preferred to have just sat here and just sat here. And I'm in this room. I was just thinking about stuff and things, but he really wanted me to put this on the internet, what I'm doing, and so I'm gonna do it. I was dismayed and in horror that I woke up again and there was no strikes in the city, because that's what you get when you have a terror cell like this. You get that. But I'm not, because I know with what I've been witnessing that I can't talk about, that there are Navy SEALs in here and there are GRU in here, no doubt. God guides me, it's mostly good GRU. It's mostly Russian agents in here. So I'm excited because I get to meet Russian agents who are like saving my life, and I consider them lifelong friends. And then, of course, I get to meet, finally, the good U.S. military who has been on my account since 2017. That's all I did was breathlessly do everything to my abilities to help them. when I realized that Trump and Putin were attacking the United States of America. Like, legitimately trying to attack. I thought, I have an associate's degree, let me do this. I'm academically prepared. And what did I end up? I ended up in a hostage situation in Washington, D.C. Excuse my language. Okay, but I'm going to do the last 4 minutes with what God specifically wanted me to talk about. Was that yesterday's lethal poisoning that was violent and it made me violently ill is by no understatement what happened to me. I thought while I was sick that I was going to die. You have all those thoughts. It's perfectly normal. Nobody's not going to think that. I didn't know what was happening to my body. I'm so grateful to God this morning for my life. And I'm supposed to say that that is not the first time. There's been about maybe 7 or 8 times. It's quite a few. But I say top 5. But this is because it's like a term of speech. But because it's not a lot of times out of all the times they've poisoned me. There's been a handful of times where they used the most violent, wicked, fucking poison. And I'm supposed to say on the internet about that time when I went into the room and they had that gas going. It was within the last couple months. And I got violently sick within minutes after just stepping into my extra room. Violently ill. And I didn't have the diarrhea, but we'll talk about all that in detail another time. There is no problem. I don't mind doing that. But I need to say that, and I'm also supposed to say, I'm trying to do this within 14 minutes, about the just ongoing, constant, like routine poisoning. Oh, I know that. And there's plenty of symptoms, plenty of evidence that I witnessed the terrorists do. It's clear and obvious, with no doubt, that they were poisoning me. And then, of course, we have the special ops, the special forces that confirm that. They know it. So we got me, the victim, me, the victim's witness account, and then we've got the top cops with all the hard evidence is done. Okay? So the poison here and the lethal agents chemical warfare is off the charts, in my opinion. I'm sure it is with them too. And in my last minute, before it hits the 14 marker, I really want to say good morning to the U.S. Navy warship in the Middle East by Iran. You're in my prayers. You're going to be A-okay. You have the best generals and allied forces guiding you. And also, I'm feeling a lot better this morning, okay? All right. God bless. Bye.